Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Travelers Podcast, episode 3 of season 2. We had a bit of a hiccup last episode, which you'll be able to check out if you look up the episode 2.5, where we had a discussion with Happenstance. Although I'm not sure I would wager to call it a discussion. Regardless, we're back here for probably one of our final regular episodes. My name's Logic Mage.
I'm Super QGS.
And I'm Rambler.
Today we're joined by LightningWB.
The one and only.
Hello.
Lightning is now the most often recurring guest on our podcast.
How many times has Lightning been on the Travelers podcast?
This would be the third time.
I mean, he always wants to be a host, so at this point he practically is one.
Might as well just re-roll me in the server.
Hey, you're going to be old news after this. Although I guess not, because Mr. LightningWB is going to have a lot to talk about later, but we will get into that. We've got so much to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. You're right. Well, I guess we could start off with the obvious. We beat the game, which is pretty exciting.
We're going to talk all about that later, but that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, just even think that. Like, it's so weird to think about because it's been such a big part of a lot of our lives for the past, I don't even know, well over a year now. And some of us even longer, stretching into pre-release, but it's been quite a wild ride, to say the least.
I guess I should be the one to introduce the first topic. Lawnmowers have officially been added in to the thetravelers.online. At long request, Tarag has done it. He's added in lawnmowers. We can all go home now. It's great. We can stop playing. We did it. Lawnmowers are in the game, confirmed. And Tarag didn't debate us because it was April Fool's. I'm kidding, of course. Tarag would never make my dreams come true like this because he's a cruel, cruel dev. But he did post an April Fool's post of a changelog saying added lawnmowers, and even though it wasn't real, I don't know, I appreciate it. It's crazy to think like this dumb meme that I came up with is like an April Fool's joke. I don't know how.
Didn't you come up with it 1 year ago exactly?
Wait, was it today?
Not today, but from that April Fool's. Because he wasn't able to do his Taraga Dude stream.
Oh, no. Wait, let me think. Because I didn't actually join on April 1st. I joined a few days later because I couldn't catch the stream. But then I found that he did an April Fool's stream, and I joined. But then a few days after that, I did the lawnmower thing. So I don't know the exact date. I should figure that out.
I think it's April 11th that the Tools to Break structure stream happened.
Okay. April 11th. That's the anniversary of lawnmowers, I guess.
Super.
Day.
Oh,
Lawnmower
but super.
Day.
It's possible that some people don't actually know where lawnmowers come from or where that kind of meme comes from. Do you want to elaborate a bit?
Okay, so basically, this was when I first joined the Travelers, and I was memeing on Taragadude. He was doing a development stream where he was putting in the building system where you could chop stuff down, and he was like, I don't know, what should I add in to mine things, like how do you destroy walls and stuff like that, and he was gonna add in a pickaxe, and I was like, dude, Fortnite has that, Minecraft has that, literally everything has a pickaxe. Don't add a pickaxe. That's the lamest thing you could possibly do. Add chainsaws. Chainsaws are cool. And he was like, no, chainsaws cost fuel, and I don't want to do that because I'm a lazy dev. And I was like, no, if you don't do chainsaws, even better, just do lawnmowers. And then I kept going with it, and at first, it was just my personal meme. No one talked about it except me. And then down the line, when he added PvP, I was like, Toraga, dude, if 1v1 me, if I win, you add lawnmowers. And he actually said okay. And then the result of that is posted in the mower tragedy video. But story short, I did not understand the PvP system. And I got him down to, I think it was 1 health, wasn't it?
That's right, it was 1 health point.
I got him down to 1 health, and then he heavy attacked me, and I died. And lawnmowers apparently are never going to be added into the Travelers. However, I'm still holding out hope.
I just checked back through the Dragatune streams, and I think Toro deleted the comment where he suggested mowers.
Did he actually?
It's not there in any of on the April 1st or the April 11th one.
Bruh, Taraga, dude, this is mower erasure. Why would you do this?
Toro gets
But-
pretty delete happy, I've seen, but yeah.
But after I posted that video, and then it kind of became a game-wide meme that somehow still remains today. I've never seen a meme last this long, but it still does, apparently. I don't even know if it's not even funny anymore. It's just like a fact of life. It died like 3 times, and then it's just like it exists now. It's just vocabulary. But I don't think there's anything else to say about lawnmowers. So
Probably not.
You guys didn't get the lawnmower on April 1st?
no, I wasn't able to craft it. I'm kidding.
Oh, you gotta be level 300, I think, then.
Shut up, Lightning. Oh my gosh. Okay, Lightning, since you just roasted me, you get to introduce the next topic.
Well, Happenstance appeared out of nowhere one day on the Discord, and a phenomenal podcast was made, and also a phenomenal series of events.
Yeah, so we talked about this a bit last time on the Happenstance podcast, the bonus episode. But one day, I don't know the exact day, it was like, how long ago was it?
It was a little over a month ago. I think it was March 19th.
Okay. So we had, as you probably have heard in episode 2, season 2, we didn't know what to do with uranium. We had no idea. We were confused. We found the uranium and there was just nothing else. So we're like, okay, what do? We probably are going to make this into an atomic weapon of some kind. That's our guess. But how do we do that? No one knew. And then Happenstance posts into the Puzzle Spoilers channel a screenshot of her inventory, and it just says atomic detonator, and then it has, I don't think it had a description, but it was just like a picture of an atomic detonator, and everyone went nuts. I remember at first everyone thought it was fake. I thought it was fake too, but we were like, we didn't have anything else, and it was just so weird how much Happenstance knew about the Travelers. You would have to have a decent amount of knowledge in the game in order to have a screenshot that is this accurate and makes this much sense. So I thought it was fake, but things weren't adding up.
Yeah. I remember, the wood chipper chat picked up a bit, as it does, during that time, and all of a sudden we had a giant group chat about it, within an hour.
Well, what happened is that I was the first one to get friend requested to try and trade for the high-range teleporter blueprint, and the trade just grew from there, sort of.
Yeah, Happenstance is a bit of a mysterious figure, they would often contact people for information about trades and all this other stuff, which in hindsight was probably a lot of deliberate social engineering. But regardless, they would get very block happy, they'd do all these sorts of things that made us wonder what their true intentions were, and so it's still kind of a mystery as to what their ultimate goal was.
Yeah, we still don't exactly know. We have some suspicions, but we don't know the full Happenstance story to this day. But basically, I think Brambley said, a group chat was formed called the Atomic Conspiracy. And at first we were just trying to figure out anything we could. So I think I was talking to her and trying to trade uranium. And I actually didn't have uranium close enough to give it to her. It was purely a social engineering attempt where I was just trying to gauge how badly she wanted uranium. And I was saying oh, I hear you have a high-range teleporter blueprint. I'll give you this, this, and this for it. And she was saying oh, Allocator already promised all that and more. And then Alec later said she just was going to give it to me for free. She's completely lying. So I was like, okay, so she's pulling my leg here. So then I was saying, oh, but I was offering her uranium, and I was like, oh, I can get it to you and more, but it's going to take a few days. And then she was like, no, just give me the charged cores and the uranium and it's fine. And I'm like, okay, but I'm going to have to grind for them. And then she's like, you know what? Just give me the uranium. And so she just very quickly, with no negotiation, dwindled it down to just hey, just give me the uranium as fast as possible and I will give you information. And I'm just that made me really think that there was something there, because why would you be that desperate for uranium if you didn't have, like, a specific use you needed for it? Because, like, anyone can go get uranium, but there's not a reason you'd want it, like, so much faster than normal. And so that kind of made me think that it was real. And then Lightning somehow got, like, the item data of it, right?
Yeah, I can. Well, what happened is we originally traded uranium's item data, which was completely nothing, just the description, for the atomic detonator's item data.
Yeah, so we got the atomic detonator item data, and that, like, legitimized it, but it was a bit weird because it took them a while to actually...
Yeah, what happened with that? Lightning didn't mention this at first, but he mentioned that she was having some trouble getting the item data, which I was like, okay. Then he mentioned it took her like 15 minutes to send it. And like, I can see having trouble, but having 15 minutes worth of trouble of doing it?
It was 15 minutes after I gave her the script. Not like right when I sent the uranium data, she sent the detonator data.
Yeah, but 15 minutes is a lot, which means she almost definitely fabricated it. Which, I wish you had said that sooner, but, yeah.
But at the time, we were almost fully convinced that the atomic detonator was at least partially real, because we had no other leads to anything. And we were just like, this has to be it. Somehow, we got her... Do you guys remember how we got her to give us coordinates or approximate coordinates?
We were arranging where we'd meet up for trades, and then she said her approximate area so we could arrange where we'd meet up.
Yeah, she either said at the Lightning or Alec, like, her general area.
And her general area was, like, very far to the left of the map, and then, like, in the negative quadrant. I forget the exact, like,
it was
approximate
like
chords.
Originally she said about negative 100,000, negative 50,000, but then she suddenly moved like an hour later to about 50,000, 50,000.
Okay.
Yeah, she was... Her first set of chords was, like, deep in the negative quadrant, and then she gave another set of chords, which made... Either she was lying, or she had multiple accounts, but, we didn't really know what to do with that at first. All we knew, really, for sure, was that she really wanted uranium. That was our big lead.
And at the time, at least we don't think that she knew we were organizing in a big group chat. It's actually possible she might have, because I've got some theories that I'll talk about in a bit, but she was, like, talking to a bunch of different people at once about, like, getting uranium. And she was, like, messaging different people, like, you know, did you, like, have you discovered an atomic item yet, or something like that. And then I remember she, I don't know how in-depth you guys want to go, but, like, I remember she sent one to Slippy, and then Slippy, like, was himself trolling about anime or something like that, and she asked if anime was enriching or something. And at the time, we were just, like, all laughing about this because Slippy was being hilarious and Happenstance was just, like, getting debated. But then we looked back at it and it was like, wait, she said, is anime enriching? And she had a capital E. And enriching is, like, what you do to uranium in order to get it, like, ready to be used in, like, nuclear fusion and stuff like that. So we're like, oh shoot, like, this might be a clue. Maybe she did find something, and she needs to find a place to enrich uranium in order to use it for a nuclear weapon. And so, like, all these factors combined, and we were, like, absolutely sure that she had found something and was trying to get uranium somehow, and was not going to tell us things, because she was, like, being super sketch and deleting things and all sorts of stuff like that. So eventually, actually, Lightning, you made you made a trade with Happenstance. You were going to give her a shotgun, and she was going to give you information about...
She was going to tell me where she found the detonator and the detonator itself.
And so, why don't you tell our audience what ended up happening in that interaction?
So when I got to the trade location, I found a sign that had a blank part and followed by go to the point of intersection. To receive the first half of the hint, leave one shotgun buried in a hole beneath this sign. When I ended up leaving that there, I walked a few tiles away. Another traveler came over, looked in the hole, and then started running away without taking the shotgun. So then I followed that other traveler to find it was Happenstance, and a fight broke out due to the fact that Happenstance said nothing.
Well, she didn't say nothing. She said, what's interesting, she didn't take the shotgun. Like,
Well,
she just dropped she took it and then she dropped it on the ground.
That was the interesting part, is that she did initially take it. It wasn't that she just left it completely. She held on to it for like 20, 30 seconds and then ran for it.
And then she said something like she was like she told Lightning to log off for the second part of the hint. And then Lightning's like, I'm not logging off, and then he got into a fight. And I think during the fight he was saying, like, if you tell me, I'll stop fighting you. Like, if you tell me what the hint is. And she just didn't say anything for the rest of the fight.
Do you want to, like, voice act this? I'll play Waffle 2, and then one of you guys plays Happenstance.
I'll be Happenstance.
Can you just tell me what you promised?
LightningWB.
Yes, that would be me. I am on an alt. And then the fight broke out.
Wait, no. She said, like... She told you to... I remember her telling you to log off before...
That was mid-fight, I think. Or... No. She kept disengaging from the interaction. I think she said it during one of the other times. Because Lightning had to catch up to her
screenshots up of what actually happened.
Don't worry, we'll make Bram dig through the 1,000-message-long chat log.
I'll help.
Anyway, Lightning kills Happenstance. What's interesting is the account Happenstance was only like level 40. And she mentioned in DMs that like she was sending a burner account. So Happenstance's actual account name in the Travelers was not Happenstance for some reason, which is weird. So we were just weirded out by this interaction. We were like, what was the point of this? We have half a hint, something about going to the point of intersection. And then Happenstance didn't even take the shotgun and told us to log off, which we assumed at the time was that so she could take uranium. Because she was like, in this screenshot that we just read off, like, she was surprised that LightningWB was like on a burner account. I guess she suspected him to come on his main and have uranium on him. But we really don't know to this day.
Of course, that's not really how the game works. You're typically, if you're going to interact with someone directly, you're coming on an alt, as we've seen.
But as soon as she said log off, Lightning's just like, attack.
Yeah. It was actually very interesting to see play out, just because up until that point, Happenstance was, and still is, very, kind of operates very mysteriously, so getting to see them up close was pretty interesting. And seeing all that play out, we still don't understand exactly what the point of all that was, because she doesn't seem to actually achieve anything by doing what she did. So I don't really understand what that whole transaction was about.
Happenstance has not been active publicly since we recorded the 2.5 episode, but Happenstance would like to come on again sometime and explain, like, what exactly any of this meant. I'm sure we would be down for that.
I would be very, very curious. But...
If you're out there, Happenstance, speak up, because we would love to know what was really going on.
Yeah. We're sorry for killing you, but it was kind of in self-defense.
Yeah, so after Happenstance was killed, I remember she sent a message with her, like, name spelled out, like, in-game, a whole bunch of signs. What did she say with that message? I can't quite remember.
Happenstance.
Well, no, I know it was her name, but what was the accompanying Discord message? Like, she said something with it, right? Or no?
Lightning, check your DMs, it might still be there.
Yep, I'm just posting it.
Hello, you have achieved nothing by killing that account. You only clued me into what is really going on. I know about the Secret Alliance. I know that you and Super QSG are conspiring against me. You may have more allies. It is only a matter of time before I uncover these culprits.
Oh, bro.
It was a grave mistake to go against me. I made it perfectly clear to you that I was passive. I would have given you and your faction all the information I know of. You will know soon enough who you are dealing with. I am Happenstance, And then she
Holy
posted
cow.
the picture of a bunch of signs spelling out happenstance.
Oh man. So this image has an interesting story too. Have we gone into that yet? I don't
No,
think
we
we did.
haven't. We haven't talked about this publicly yet, but this is where I think things got super interesting. Just from, I guess, I don't know, technical standpoint is we started trying to find that sign spot.
Should I go into that then?
Yeah,
go
definitely. This is super interesting to me, at least. So
So once we had that screenshot, I noticed that there were 3 events, a city, and 2 houses. And from that, I figured that if we scanned the whole world, it'd be easy enough to get a list of those locations and narrow it down to try and figure out where happenstance was, because that might be near the detonator that we thought at the time was real. I then ended up writing the noise generation in C, and then implementing that so it'd be as fast as possible, and I distributed programs for everyone to run to try and find that as quick as possible.
Yeah, so me, Lightning, and Alec, and Glack a little bit, we all started running, like, as many programs of it as we could do. I think it was split into, like, 50 chunks of 50,000 or something.
I think it was 100,000, or yeah, it was 100,000 chunks. So you'd scan from negative 500,000 to negative 400,000 in the x-axis, and then the whole y-axis would be scanned.
Yeah, so we all really we spent a at first Lightning actually put the program in wrong, so we spent the first like hour or two scanning for the incorrect thing. But after he fixed it, it really only took like an hour to find it. I think Allocator was the one that found it, and then
He found it like 30,000 away.
yeah, so we found it within the hour. I mean, I think at worst it probably would have taken like 2 or 3 hours, but we found it like really quickly.
And yeah, that was super interesting. And we actually used a similar tactic for a different part that's wasn't as combative or competitive, but it's really interesting that you can use the noise and kind of brute force to find locations from screenshots. And that's why if you've got a base on the Travelers, make sure that you censor out any, especially any houses or cities, but any natural terrain. There's programs, there's scripts that we have that you can use to censor it out in a screenshot, or you can just edit it out in the screenshot itself. But if you
Right.
don't want to be found, don't put natural terrain anywhere in the screenshot.
Just use my streamer mode and disable houses and trees, and you should be good.
yeah, Lightning's client has a mode where you can, well, exactly what you said. You can display certain, or you can disable certain display elements of the actual game. So pretty
Couldn't you
neat.
technically brute force it with like grass and mountains? That would be super hard to do though, right?
Well, grass, I believe, takes multiple noise values into account too. So then that would,
Okay.
because houses only have 1 noise value, and then they also check if they're in an ocean, but that's really easy to check afterwards.
Yeah,
And there's a lot more grass in the world.
that's true. It would take ages to brute force, but especially houses and cities and trees, you don't want those. Grass, you'll probably be fine unless someone has a supercomputer. But we ended up finding the happenstance signs, and I forget what was like. There was just nothing written on the signs, was there?
It was just nothing.
She did, very close to the giant sign wall. She did leave lightning uranium buried in a hole.
Well, actually, wait. We're gonna get to that in a second, though, because we've got to talk about something first about keeping uranium.
That's true. Okay, to understand like the next like bit of this, we do need to backtrack a bit. We kind of skipped over this real quick, although it is public knowledge at this point that we did it, but the details are not fully spelled out. We ended up making a second giant wall, much like the chipper wall, around the uranium mine this time, though, which, to be frank, was a lot more difficult than making the chipper wall. Starting off with how remote the location was.
Yeah, so this was happening, I think, around the time that Lightning killed Happenstance.
As soon as we learned that Happenstance wanted uranium, we immediately started sending all of our accounts there.
we didn't immediately, because at first it was such an absurd thing to do. And I remember posting some memes. Like, I went on the PFG Map Explorer and I traced around and I said, "Oh shoot, here we go again," as a joke. But then the idea kind of started seeming more and more appealing, because from our perspective at the time, Happenstance had the next clue and didn't have any uranium and desperately needed uranium. We had uranium, but we had no idea where to go to the next clue. So we both had something the other wanted, except Happenstance could very easily just go and get her own uranium. So we kind of, like, we had the idea that Happenstance was probably around 0-0 at this point. And so I remember just getting all my alts, like all my not all my alts. I got, like, because I can only run through, like, 4 accounts now. I got my 3 chipper alts and I started sending them up to the uranium, and we were going to start building a wall around it. We didn't really know the details yet, but we just knew we needed accounts up there in case anything went down. And I know how many other people started heading up there.
Well, I sent test 1111 up there really soon, too.
Yeah.
I immediately started sending Not Paul up there pretty quickly. I know Allocator sent out an account as well. And then you had your account, and then you found out Glack was also nearby.
Yeah, so I'll get into that in a second. But basically, this was really scary because with the chipper wall, we could just make new accounts and they were instantly there and ready to start building. The uranium thing was, like, closer to the world border, like, up...
It was, I think, 60,000 away from the world border.
Yeah. It was very, very remote, and Happenstance was probably beating most of our accounts. So we needed to get ahead of Happenstance and build a wall around the uranium before she got there, and she probably had the head start on a lot of our accounts. So we had the idea that test 1111 was going to beat her there by, like, a few hours, we expected, like, in our predictions. I don't know how accurate they were looking back, but at the time we were like, okay, test 111 has got to be, like, a few hours ahead of Happenstance. So the idea was that we would put him on the uranium and he would guard it. And when Happenstance came up, he would jump out and attack her and hopefully throw her back to spawn.
Well, we also changed test 1111, so it'd only go when the Traveler is 2 tiles away, so they'd walk onto the same tile.
Yeah, so we had that strategy, but we still needed a wall. And I remember checking my account. I had just recently, like in the past week, gotten uranium, and on my main account, and I was just like, oh shoot, I am probably the closest person to where we need to be right now on my main account. And normally, you don't use your main account for things like this, when there's, like, hostile enemies on their way to you. But I was the only one of us that was nearby, so I just I buried all my items. Not all my items. I buried a lot of my valuable items, and I buried all my uranium and my phaser, so that if I died, she wouldn't be able to get uranium or phaser.
We also didn't know if Happenstance had a phaser at that point, or knew that she needed a phaser to get the uranium, and we didn't want her to get a free phaser to get in.
So basically, yeah, and also we didn't know if Happenstance knew she needed a phaser. We knew that, because she said she listened to all the podcast episodes, we knew that she knew uranium was there, but we didn't know if she knew you needed a phaser to go into there or not. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep my phaser and uranium and bury it, like, as far away as I can and then start heading over. But, like, it was not, like, I was just one account, and test 111 was going to be there in days. And he had to guard the thing the whole time. So I started setting up the storage unit chest, but I'm like, and I was gathering supplies for it, but I was like, we really need more players here.
My botnet was also heading over there at that point.
Yeah.
But it was also days away.
So it was like, actually, I think most people were like a week away. People were really far away. It was like in the middle of absolute nowhere. No one was around. And I forgot why I forgot why I thought this, but I had the idea in my head that Glack was nearby uranium. So I figured, like, you know, we could, if someone's nearby uranium, we could really use his help. And so I messaged Glack and I was like, okay, what are your approximate coordinates? and he sent me his approximate coordinates, and he was like within a day's worth of uranium, and I was like, oh shoot, we really need his help. So I kind of was campaigning the rest of the people that we should let him into the group and ask if he could help with the wall. But we were like, it was also at the point, like, we were so secretive. Like, this was not public knowledge with anyone yet. And so we were just like, do we tell him? Do we not tell him? But, like, I was just like, guys, I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. At this point, we just need all hands on deck. So we ended up inviting Glack to a group chat called The Conspirators, which is what kind of our new version of the Chippers, because we were all conspiring against Happenstance to build a wall around this mountain of uranium.
Our original plan was that test 1111 was going to arrive before my botnet, and we knew we wouldn't be able to build the wall without my botnet. So our original plan was to have test 1111 kill Happenstance back to spawn once, and then my botnet would arrive and we'd have a layer of wall set up. And because Happenstance wouldn't be expecting a killbot there, she wouldn't protect against it, so then we'd have plenty of time to be able to defend it and fortify it.
Yeah. But then, so test 1-1 ended up, I just gathered, like, steel and metal for a few days. Or not, like, for, like, a day. Eventually, Glack showed up, and he started doing the same thing. And then test 1111 got there, and he just, like, started guarding the uranium while we were gathering supplies. We were just putting them in storage containers at the time because, like Lightning said, if Happenstance were to show up, we didn't want her to think that anything was off until we were ready to, like, actually start building the wall. So the idea was that, you know, she would go, like Lightning said, and get held by Happenstance, going back to spawn, and that would buy us time. But we never, like, saw her show up, so eventually we're like, okay, we've got a decent amount of materials. When exactly did we start physical construction? I think Lightning headed that a lot.
Well, we started once we had enough walls for one layer pre-made.
Yeah. So Lightning put all the walls around there. We had a lot of trouble, not trouble, but we spent a lot of time trying to find the exact, because it's a really complicated mountain, and we weren't doing right angles this time, because we were trying to do a certain thing to make it teleport proof.
The plan with this one wasn't to make it hard to get through, it was to make it impossible to break through.
Yeah. Because we didn't know, like, we knew that Happenstance had a high-range teleport blueprint, like one to spare that she could give out. That's something that we didn't have to deal with the Chipper Wall, because we could just protect against a short-range teleport. A high-range teleport would have been able to cross by the Chipper Wall completely. So, at first we were discussing options, like, do we build, like, 4 more walls outside to, like, prevent a high-range teleport? But it was complicated. And eventually Lightning's like, you can't teleport onto holes or signs or any object in the Travelers. And this is something that could have been pretty useful in the Chipper Wall, now that I think about it. But basically, if we filled in the entire wall with, like, signs or something like that, it would be impossible to teleport into.
The big issue with that, though, is that we couldn't place any signs or objects on mountains. So I had the idea of using originally we were going to use holes, because those could be dug anywhere, and we would just fill them with 11 sticks. So that way, they wouldn't respawn, they wouldn't go away, and then we could stop teleports.
But holes are always super finicky, because Trogdid's always changing stuff about, like, what makes holes go away. And also 11 sticks was a ton of wood to gather. Like, we could have done it, but there was so much space to fill that it would have been, like, an insane amount of wood that we would have to gather to put in to the holes. So then we had the idea, we were like, wait, I think it was Lightning that came up with it. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. So my idea was that we suicide a bunch of times there, because that would create a dead body, which is counted as an object in the game that you wouldn't be able to teleport on. And those, you only needed 1 stick to make a body, which is a lot better than the 11 sticks for 1 hole.
So our plan was to fill this giant tub surrounding the uranium with dead bodies. Imagine how that would look like in lore, in game. Like, just a giant wall surrounding a pit of dead bodies that is used to secure the base.
It got pretty close to being filled with dead bodies in some places.
Yeah. So actually what we found out later, before we fully filled it with dead bodies, was that you actually can't teleport onto mountains. I don't know why this is. We didn't realize this until basically doing this. You can't do a teleportation if there's a mountain on the spot. You have to teleport onto like sand or grass or something like that. So we only had to fill in the holes of like in between the mountains with dead bodies. And we actually I think we filled it in completely with dead bodies. There was only mountains and dead bodies. We can probably put a screenshot up on screen of that.
Yeah, it was a lot
There
of
were a
dead
lot of
bodies.
dead bodies.
It was interesting. And you have to remember, you have to remember that it took a solid 30 seconds per body, because you had to take a stick, suicide, respawn, and then walk over.
Yeah, I have footage of it. Maybe I'll run some of it by, but it got to the point where I would grab like a whole bundle of sticks and like just like keep suiciding over and over and like slowly deplete the bigger pile and like just grab it on my way back each time. I had a whole like system worked out for it. Most of those bodies are like not Paul. I mean, Super did I think like half of the deaths on that account, but yeah, I think like there were like 600 suicides on the account.
Yeah.
Oh, we also have to say that once I placed down all the walls surrounding uranium, the following morning I left for vacation.
Oh, yeah. So Lightning was like this is a thing too. So he was test 1111. And he obviously does not want to give out the code for test 1111 because that would destroy the travelers. But he left for vacation, so like we couldn't count on him to always be there. He was hard to reach and kind of, I don't know exactly where you were, but it was not always like you didn't always have the best internet service. So it's good that we had the wall when we did, and we just kind of had to do the bodies by ourselves.
I was able to do, I think, 80 or so deaths on my phone.
Yeah. How many deaths does Not Paul have?
It's like 600, I think. Yeah, I probably did like 300 of them, and I think you did like the other 300 on it. So
yeah. So Bram just like he was doing it for a long time, and he was just done. So he actually gave me the password to his account, and I just like did the rest of it.
Black also did a lot of the bodies too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Glack did a lot of the bodies, and then Lightning did some of them. And then we had the whole thing filled in with bodies. And so that would last for 60 days. So over time, we would replace it with signs. But that would give us 60 days of protection from happenstance.
And we also, because we ended up getting a double layer, and we knew that we would then have to check it once every 19 hours, because it would take 19 hours with the sledgehammer to break in.
Yeah. So that was our complete, like, our whole system that we did to protect uranium. And then Happenstance turns around and sends us a screenshot of herself having uranium. And at first we're like, there's no way. We've been here. Test 1111 has been there. There's no way that she has got uranium. It's impossible. But sure enough, she had uranium. She actually, what's really interesting is she left a hole for Lightning to find, and she sent him coordinates to it. I forget exactly how that interaction happened.
Well, she sent, I think, it was either a puzzle or a screenshot of some coordinates in Puzzle Spoilers one day, which quickly got deleted. But we were able to screenshot that, and then we went there. It was a puzzle, which I can pull up real quick.
yeah, the puzzle itself was like, I forget exactly how it worked. It was like binary or something, and like hexadecimal. I don't know. It was something weird, and that gave us another set of chords.
Some Riddler crap.
Yeah.
It was like alphanumeric or something.
Oh yeah,
and
it was like
base 64.
Yeah, something like that. And then that led to uranium buried in a hole.
And what's interesting about that is, like, it would be to her advantage to keep us guarding, like, all of our energy guarding the uranium wall. But for some reason, she wanted us to know that she had uranium, and she actually gave it to him in-game so that he could verify that, like, it was there. And so at first, like, when we saw this screenshot with uranium, we thought it was fake. But then at that point, we're like, okay, so somehow she got uranium. We know she didn't get it from the actual mountain, so she must have got it from somewhere else. But either way, that puts us in a tough situation because she has uranium.
Do we want to say how we think she got the uranium, or?
let's leave that until. Actually, yeah. Go ahead and say.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Alec was a spy. I know you guys aren't going to support this, but there was
I
a
would
lot of
support that.
because he did say he had 10 uranium, and then he also said he gave 2 to an alt, which would leave 1 on the alt, and then also 1 to give to me.
That's true.
I guess what
Yeah.
doesn't line up for me about Alec being a spy is that he left that group chat part of the way through the actual project. So what advantage would that have given him if that was the case?
I think he
didn't give an
sort of
explanation
felt
for that either.
bad because I think that he was with a real life friend that was, I think one of his real life friends was happenstance, and he sort of felt bad that he was doing this.
Maybe.
I don't know. The mystery. There's theory, but the mystery is still kind of up in the air. We don't know the details. My theory would be that, Allocator and Amy were working together to kind of create the happenstance persona.
That's my current favorite idea.
I would agree with that. And I was kind of vouching for Allocator. I don't know. Again, this is all like speculation. We still don't know what happened for most of this, which is why we would be really interested in getting more sides of the story, but I don't know. It's a bit of a mess, but we ended up beating the game, so I guess it turned out. Do we have anything else to say about the wall?
We replaced it with, yeah, I guess we just sort of maintained it.
Yeah.
I don't. There's not too
And
much
it's
more.
still there today. You can still go, and it's mostly
We
intact.
gotta break that down so people can actually get uranium now that they think.
Well,
We
it'll
can-
get broken down over time, regardless.
True.
I don't think.
I
it's a
really
huge
think
issue.
that Taro should just poke like 5 or 6 holes in it and be done with it.
I don't think he should do it. I think other people should.
Yeah, it's not hurting
different. It's
anybody.
not a spawn wall. Like, if you get to the uranium, you're dedicated to the game enough to break through, and you're gonna be able to figure it out.
And that's so cool. Like, I'm sorry, but that wall, like, around the uranium mine is super cool to see. Like,
I
imagine,
know.
like, someone going through the puzzle in the future, and they just see this giant, like, compound around, like, where they're supposed to be heading to. Like, I'm sorry, but that's... I wish there were more, like, big, like, puzzle elements, like, just something huge. It would be cool. I
Yeah.
get why there isn't, but it would be very cool to see.
Like, more things like the fortress where it's like multiple icons.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. Imagine like a massive overworld dungeon that you actually have to like navigate with the
That'd
arrow
be
keys and
so
stuff like
cool.
that. Right?
Hey, Travelers Plus, you and me, Lightning, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
Just writing the like base stuff for it and maybe some of the base game too.
Okay, well, I'll build off that and make it happen. All our
I'll make the
Travelers
mower
dreams.
plugin too.
Mower plugin, let's go. Doing what Taragadude could never do. But anyway, Ducky McLucky was like saying in chat after we started constructing the wall, like, guys, I'm going towards uranium. And we were like, oh gosh, no, because we don't want to kill Ducky McLucky. We like Ducky McLucky, but we also don't want anyone to know about the wall, because this is before we knew Happenstance already had uranium.
The other thing too is that if Toro found out about the wall and if someone was heading to the wall, he would have most definitely torn it down.
Yeah, we were worried about that. He hasn't torn it down yet, which is good, but I don't know. He likes to mess with our stuff a lot. He mentioned when he found out about it, he's like, "Okay, I'm changing it. You can teleport on the mountains." And I'm just like, "Bro, you can't switch up the meta just because someone does something." But I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's his
mean-
game, I guess.
I would get it if, like, we were saying we're going to, like, actively maintain and defend, like, the wall, but we all said, like, we're not touching it, so...
Even then, though, I feel like that would still be acceptable. It's like, like it's like a PvP battle to beat the game. You have to like defeat a faction or something. I don't know.
I think just poking like 2 or 3 holes in it would be enough.
I feel like
'Cause
that's
it is
something the
definitely
players
cool
should be
to
left to
see.
do, though. Like it's
Yeah.
cooler when the players have poked holes in it rather than like an auto breaker poking holes in it. It's more natural.
Right. I mean, it's one thing for there to be a massive wall around spawns. It's like actively restricting new players' ability to play. But at that point, if you're getting uranium, you're probably an experienced player, right? Like you've got most stuff in the game. You'd be
Yeah.
more than capable of knowing how to deal with this and like how to actually break in there. So, and you'd have the tools to do it. So I don't really see what the issue is there. Obviously, megastructures aren't designed to exist in the Travelers as it is right now. But even then, like it's one of those things where you're limiting player creativity, which is always a bad thing in my opinion. So
Mega structures are the coolest thing to look at in the game by far.
they are. So
They are. But yeah, so we told Ducky McLucky, we gave him a theory that we thought it might be it, but we really didn't think it was going to be anything.
It was the one that was on the diagonal, the positive-negative diagonal, sort of at the foot of the arc. Which, do we want to say what was there now or later?
We'll get to that in a second, but that's where we sent Ducky McLucky to divert him from finding the wall. We are sorry for deceiving you, Ducky McLucky. We love you. We just didn't want to have to kill you. So, you were welcome. We will let you into the uranium now whenever you would like to be there.
Did we ever make the door passwords public, or?
I don't think we did. I don't think we should, honestly. I mean, I guess
it would be cool
could,
to see holes get poked in it, like, by people.
We'll have to see.
Okay, so backtracking a tad, while the wall's being built, we're trying to figure out where the atomic detonator came from still, because happenstance at this point was proving to be very uncooperative, and we realized we probably weren't going to get any more information out of her. So, we had a few ideas, and I, in particular, had this one weird crackpot idea to take or split the world diagonally and mirror the uranium cores over into the negative quadrant over that axis, which the only reason I even considered that was because of the chords happenstance gave. It kind of would have lined up with her, like, displacement if she was, like, heading away from that spot, from what she had said. So that's where that idea came from, and everyone had a lot of doubt in it. Reasonably,
I did not. It made no sense. I was like, okay, I mean, you can check it if you want, but I don't think we should be really putting resources into that. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing pointing to that.
Yeah,
my account disconnected on its way there, and I didn't bother to reconnect it because I was just being lazy for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, reasonably, I can see why the doubt happened, but it did end up having something there, surprisingly enough. Yeah, so I remember we were about to we had just gotten to a voice chat. It was, I don't remember why we were getting into it exactly, but then
I think I said that something was there, and then I immediately started a voice call.
What's that at? I thought you started.
I don't remember seeing anything. I thought you just started a call and I joined out of curiosity.
We were going to call about something else. It was something to do with dealing with either the wall or happenstance. And like
There's
like
the
message. The first thing you said once we got in there was like you just said there's something here. I was just like, what? Like, I didn't even know what you were talking about. It completely
blindsided me. Yeah, and then you were streaming.
Yeah, I thought you were kind of trolling at first. I thought you were, like, making a joke. I was like, I don't, like, what is he talking about? And then, like, you said it's streaming, and there was actually something there, and I was like, and it was a giant L, and I'm like, okay, like...
Yeah, it's like, okay, he put an L in the Travelers, because LightningWB. It's his thing. Okay? Like, he builds L's in Minecraft and everywhere. And I was like, okay... But then he was like still dead serious.
I placed a ton of L's by spawn into a
tower and
briefly deleted those.
Wow. Thanks, Turug. No, I'm kidding. But I was like it hadn't hit me yet. I was just like, okay, this is probably a troll. But Lightning didn't like start laughing or anything. He was just completely dead serious.
Yeah. And what was funny about it, Lightning, this is what you said, I don't know if this is what you meant, but I think at first you thought it was the chords you guessed at first. I think because you said there were like...
Yeah, I think I got the alts mixed up, because I thought it was... Well, the theory I had was that the monument was sort of in between, like, where that line takes a right angle and goes straight down on the clue.
Yeah, so... Yeah, he had them mixed up, he thought it was his, and then... we realized it was my idea, and I was just like, okay. I was completely, like... like, I didn't have too much faith in it, but I did really want it to still be checked, because we didn't really have too many other ideas at that point, and then there was actually something that... That's when I realized he wasn't trolling, when it was my idea and not his, and I was like, oh... Oh, okay. Maybe there is something here. I don't know why he would lie about the coordinates I said. Like that's just mean. But
I think all three of us like had both said like I don't think there's anything there. Like I really doubt that that's it. And then all three of us were just proven wrong at that instant because he found
Well,
the
when we
lab.
found it too, we didn't have the phaser on the ult that I had there. I didn't have a phaser in that ult, so we just saw the first screen and that was it.
Yeah.
we all started freaking out though. I mean, and then we realized because Lightning got the XP bonus for it, so we realized we beat happenstance here, which meant this wasn't the detonator. This was something else.
Yeah.
The first idea that we had then was that there were 4 locations. Like this would be where the virus was made. The uranium sort of stood for the uranium. There would be a government building, and then there was going to be where the nukes were made. And then those are like the sort of 4 failures of mankind that were mentioned in Clue 2.
Yeah, so we had the idea that like, okay, so we mirrored it. So I guess you're just meant to like spin the diagram and it can just be like work at like any 90-degree angle. So we started checking like all of the other ones if you mirrored the uranium cores, and I think Allocator made an amazing GIF about that. And we thought that like the detonator was going to be on one, something was going to be on one, and we get all of them, and then we have enough to make the nuke and blow it up somewhere. We checked those. There was nothing there, so we were at a loss. Like we had no idea what was happening.
Well, we also didn't go into what we actually found in the laboratory yet either.
Yeah. This was where the nuclear bomb was found. You have to use a phaser to get inside, and you get forced nuclear bomb recipe onto you at that point. So I think I was fairly close to the spot. I think it only took me a day or two to get here. I was the closest one with the phaser. So we roll up. I go inside, I get a nuke blueprint, and at this point,
It's pretty obvious what we're meant to do.
yeah, we're clearly supposed to use a nuke somewhere, and at first, this kind of made happenstance seem more legitimate. I had a lot of doubt at this point, personally, but this kind of made it feel more legitimate, for me, at least, for a while, because there was actually a nuclear bomb tied to this step. And I remember, thankfully we did this, because it made testing a lot easier. At first, I was just gonna head away and start making the nuke, but I passed my phaser off the Lightning's account so he could also get the nuke recipe. So there were 2, so we became the first 2 accounts to be able to make a nuke.
Do we want to go into like that treaty that we made?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So when we found out that we could make nuclear weapons on the Travelers, we hadn't tested it yet. We had no idea what they could do, but we knew that they were going to be weapons of mass destruction.
We had no reason. We thought that it could have been up to like a 1,000 tower radius. That would have meant that if you went within 1,000 tiles of spawn, you could just be obliterated instantly.
Yeah, we didn't know how big the radius was. We didn't know what it would do. We knew that it would kill, like I think that a description said that it would kill you instantly and then like delete all your items instantly if you're within the radius. But we had no idea what the radius was. It could have been anyone on screen. It could have been further than that. We had no clue. So we were just like, okay, we're the only ones that know this exists. And this is going to make spawn very dangerous depending on how deadly it is. And so I remember we were on a voice call for like, it was quite a while. I forget how long exactly. But we were talking about like, our idea was that we would not actually disclose the location of the laboratory. Like, we would keep it a secret, and then everyone that knew where it was would vow to keep it a secret, and then vow to follow like a set of terms that we had.
Do we want to say the terms, or?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So this was the draft, and we were about ready to sign it, but condition was all members of the Atomic Conspiracy get the nuke blueprint, and saying the coordinates are forbidden. Nukes would only be used for the science and puzzles, so you wouldn't be able to kill anyone with them. Detonations are only permitted if everyone agrees, well, a simple majority. Preceding every detonation, a message would be put in the official Discord announcing why you're blowing up a nuke. Nukes would never be used on any players. Nukes wouldn't be stored because we didn't want someone else just taking a nuke off of one of our alts. All information related to the nuke would be revealed except for the coordinates of where to find it. You can't let someone else have access to an account that has a nuke blueprint. Nukes would not be traded. And then everyone would be notified when an account gets a nuke blueprint.
Yeah. So we had this whole system set out. We kind of debated for a while on like what it should be and like how it should be used. And then at the end we all signed it and we all agreed to the treaty.
Yeah, and then it immediately fell through, like... Well, it didn't fall through necessarily, but it became pointless because I think the very next day, Happenstance posted that they had a nuclear bomb in the Discord.
Yeah.
This really pointed towards Alec being it too, because he said that he was going to arrive right that day also.
That's true.
And that was how we presumed that Happenstance learned of the nuke.
And it would make, if Alec was arriving that day, then it would make sense that like he could take the screenshot then because he would have a nuke on him.
Well, Alec was actually supposed to arrive like the day after Happenstance.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so those did not line up. I will say
That's
that.
interesting.
So
yeah, we still don't.
We don't.
Could just Allocator could just be completely innocent, and we're talking smack. So if that's true, I apologize.
I personally would like to believe Allocator that he is not involved at all, like he told me, but I can definitely see why there is a lot of reasonable doubt about it. Like, there are definitely a lot of, like, potential things that could be tied to him, but personally, I'm going to give him, you know, I'm going to take his claim of innocence, seriously, and...
I don't really care if Alec, if you're watching this, I don't know if you're watching this or not, but I really don't care if you did end up telling Happenstance. I would just like to know what was going on, because there was a whole ton of fun.
No bad blood or anything.
I agree with that. The only reason I was, like, especially concerned with it being Alec was because it would be hard to involve him in stuff later on, if he did rat us out the Happenstance, but the puzzle's over. I mean, who cares? I mean...
We're a big happy family now. But it's possible Allocator has no involvement. Like, there's still things that don't add up with Allocator.
Yeah, neither theory adds up, so I'm going to take him at his word personally, so...
Like, really, we just need Happenstance to watch this and be like, yo, this is what happened. Like, we will interview you. We want to know exactly what went down, but it's shrouded in so much confusion still. But at least this
also,
is our
the puzzles
side of the
that you made were a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Super, because, you know, now the puzzle's over. That's why we don't mind talking about stuff like the terrain finder, right? Because we don't need to keep that a secret anymore. So if you, or if anyone for that matter has anything they want to, you know, fess up to, then I'd be interested.
But yeah, so at that point, Happenstance claimed they had a nuclear bomb, so we realized we needed to move a lot more quicker than we had previously thought. I know the treaty we just read said we wouldn't store nuclear bombs, but I had crafted one immediately.
That
afterwards.
One was grandfathered in, I think we agreed.
Yeah, we agreed it would be grandfathered in, so we had one sitting there, and...
The other thing is, Bram and I were traveling, we had two accounts next to each other, so when we were ready to blow up the nuke, we could quickly.
Yeah. So we realized we needed to do something. We didn't really have a real idea. I think we had just checked like our last idea and there was nothing there. So we decided to just try to blow up the nuke.
And we were afraid because we didn't know if it would send out a message to the whole server. Like when the spires blew up, it would send out a message to the entire server that like something happened. So if we blew up a nuke, there was a possibility that everyone on the Travelers would be alerted to it. Not just Happenstance, but like the entire Travelers public that had no idea that any of this was happening.
Yeah. And we were really concerned about the blast radius. We had no idea how like powerful this weapon would be.
Well, what we did is I set up an anchor on mild, because I had tons of stuff in that ult that I would rather have kept like 100 walls. Tor walls are still a thing. But... So we ended up going 1,000 away from that. So once we blew up the nuke, we weren't able to see it for a while. So we were there for about 20 minutes just waiting to see what was there.
The anticipation was,
First, let's back up a second, because...
Well, hold on. I just want to mention that. Part of the reason we drafted up this whole document in the first place, but it never ended up publishing it, was because, well, we didn't know how destructive the nuke exactly was, and it ended up being fairly innocuous, all things considered. Really, the worst it does is that it interrupts your auto walk, which is very annoying.
It's also only 2 tiles away, which isn't
right.
Bad at all.
And it doesn't even destroy buildings, or at least that was patched.
It doesn't destroy walls, but destroys signs. But Toro said that he would change that in an update.
He said he was changing it to either not destroy signs and anchors, or it's going to destroy walls. Like he said in the next update, he's going to make it more consistent with how it interacts with like stuff that's placed. So I guess we'll see. As far as I know, he hasn't said it one way or the other yet. So.
Okay, but yeah, so Lightning was on vacation in the middle of nowhere. I think he did it from like...
I was in the middle of a desert at that point, and I just came into cell service to see that you guys were freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Happenstance, like, we were tagging Lightning so much because Happenstance sent a picture of a nuclear bomb. We're like, Lightning, blow it up now. And then Lightning's just like, guys, I've got, like, no connection. But he just, like, is able to,
I was disconnecting every 30 seconds.
He limped just, like, as far away as he could. Bram was, like, running the other direction that Lightning did.
Yeah.
He limped, like, 1,000 away from... I don't know how far. How far away did you go?
We were about 1,000 away from each other.
So he went there and he just detonated it. And then... it actually did happen. Everyone on the server's screen lit up with, like, a thunderous... I forget, like, a thunder goes through the atmosphere or whatever it was. Yeah. Everyone, like, knew that something huge had just happened somewhere in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember Happenstance, like within, 2 minutes of us about to blow it up, Happenstance says, detonation imminent or something in the chat.
Yeah,
and then, deleted it real quick, and then I tagged her right beforehand. I told Lightning to wait, let me know right before he's ready. And he said, okay, I'll wait for your signal. I just tagged Happenstance and went, same. And then we blew it up, and it was beautiful.
I remember yelling so loud, it was...
I have that on video.
Do you have that? I would like to see what was going on in that voice call, because I wasn't in it.
You should play that. You should play that voice call over the podcast, just really quick.
Yeah, I'll do the moment of detonation. We'll put that out there.
This guy, he thinks he's such a supervillain with his dictionaries, and his tea, and his candle. Oh my god. Detonation is imminent. Same. Should just say... Oh, he deleted it.
Can we say same?
Should I say... Should...
No, I'm gonna say same. Can I tag him and say same?
Yeah, do it.
Wait, where was that?
Oh, or should we not? Should we keep this... I don't know.
It's funny, I think.
Unless he waited to post the screenshot. In which case, we gotta detonate really fast.
What is Lightning taking so long?
Wait,
Can I do it? Can I do it?
What if he's trying...
Oh, sorry.
What if he's trying to bait you into detonating, prematurely?
But he doesn't. There's no way he knows unless he's tested it. But he probably... There's no.
Well, he knows. He knows.
Can I rub it in and say? Can I rub it in his face though? I mean.
Say same. Say same.
I'll say same with a smiley face, or just same.
Just same, and then say do it, Lightning.
Oh, I'm gonna say that in here.
I'm hoping there's a message that pops up.
Oh my god. Wait. Oh god, I need to log on. I want to see.
Oh, is he doing it? Lightning.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yes.
The rumble of thunder passes the atmosphere, and after a moment, a gust of wind comes as well. The clouds above stir with blowing air, and after a moment, the sound fades away. Lightning, what did you find? He just died. Oh my gosh. I actually have someone take a screenshot. Someone take a screenshot. My brother just tagged me on Discord. He said, "Bro, you loud." Oh my god.
Holy crap!
So that's what happened with the detonation. Lightning. I drew actually. It hyped me up so much. I drew like a fan art of Lightning blowing up. Like I drew him on a beach holding a phone, and he like has a giant nuclear explosion behind him. And I don't know. I really like how that turned out, even though it was kind of like a bad MS Paint drawing. But now that's kind of a LightningWB exclusive meme, which is pretty cool. But then Bram started making his way over to where the detonation was, and he didn't really know what to expect, so you can kind of go into...
Yeah, I remember I was like, I don't know, I wasn't like, I don't think like nervous is the right word, but like, I had like this weird feeling of I just no idea what to expect. It was like I'm start like seeing like, I don't know, like barren like wasteland, like, well, it's always a barren wasteland, but a more barren wasteland, like I had no idea, and I kept getting closer and closer, and there was nothing, and that until like, right at the site of detonation, and there's like this small like crater, and I was like, I remember I felt kind of relieved that it wasn't like some super big thing, but like also at the same time a little disappointed that it wasn't like a bigger thing. But yeah, so we reach it. I think Lightning also reached it, and there's like a hole in the center, and it goes like, it's like 200 blocks or something.
Blocks.
Yeah, blocks. It's like 200 like inventory space. And I saw lightning like coming out of it or something, and I thought there was something in it at first, and he grabbed it. I was like, I remember I stepped on them. Like, did you like grab something in there? Like, was there something there? He's just like, no. So we now just had this giant hole in the ground. Everyone knows something just happened, and no lead on what to do next. We were completely at a loss. Us blowing up the nuke was our last idea, and
Yeah.
we were, at that point, at a complete loss.
So we were out of ideas, out of, resources. Well, we had we didn't have any extra nukes or anything like that. Our accounts were like spread, like we were either at the wall or at this part, like we weren't like near anything we could try. We had also just alerted literally everyone that probably a nuclear explosion had just gone off.
Oh, well, we didn't go into the like 3 location theory because we also tried that theory. That was complete scam.
Yeah, so we had a few ideas that we were testing on the way up to us blowing up the nuke. We tried like mirroring the rest of the chords. That didn't work. We also tried the correct solution and didn't realize it was correct at the time, which we'll get into later. But
the issue. Do we want to go into that now or later?
No, I don't think
we'll go into
it later. We didn't realize at the time that it was correct, and we were completely out of ideas. Alec actually had the correct idea for solving the puzzle like a month beforehand, or maybe not like a month, maybe like 2-3 weeks before we solved it. He had it figured out like completely, and we didn't realize. None of us put it together.
Yeah. He like, because he had originally he was like, it kind of looks like an atomic, like the symbol for an atomic like area or something, like the warning symbol, if you tilted it. And then he was like, wait, this kind of like, that's where the stump is, and then that's where like the laboratory is. And like it didn't make any sense, but like, okay, maybe like, we don't have anything else to try. So we went over there, but I don't think we found anything, which is kind of infuriating because I guess we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But at this point, everyone knows something just happened. We have we have no leads. So we decided, like earlier in the history of the Travelers, we did an Egg Wars live stream. It was like me, Bram, Logic, and Slime Tiger. And we had a Discord server that we made for that. And then over time, we've done other like things outside of the Travelers, and we've just invited more people from the community into the Egg Discord. We would change the name from like whatever the game was. Like when we watched Shrek 2, we named it Shrek 2 or something. It was dumb, but that was a Discord server with all of the people that like we knew on the Travelers, and not Happenstance, because Happenstance hadn't participated in any minigames yet. So we're like, okay, we gotta go explain exactly what happened to the people, and we're gonna use the egg server to do it, because that way we can tell everyone, and we can be like, hey, don't tell Happenstance any of this.
Yeah, and like we knew we were beat at that point, like, or at least we thought we were beat. Like that she was a couple of steps ahead. So it there was no benefit to like keeping it secret at that point, which I wish a lot of the things we've like done over the course of the puzzle we didn't need to keep secret, because it's always more fun with more people, but we really didn't know like what to do with happenstance.
Yeah. But then our theory that we kind of had is our 15 degrees theory, where we took the
That's
thing.
It's not
and,
really a theory, it's more of a brute force.
Yeah, I guess it was a brute force. But where did we get the number 15 from? Was it on the thing or something?
It was just that I think we did the math, and any special integral we figured would be 15 or
There
well,
there was a particular reason for it. I because it was my idea. I forget what it was, but there was there was a very like specific reason for 15, but I don't remember what it was exactly. But it wasn't just like, oh, 15 happens to make sense. There was a reason. I forget what it was, but obviously it wasn't right, so it didn't really stick out in my head.
But it was still I feel like it was still a really cool moment, because like we had like a giant board of coordinates, like everyone's like, okay, are you near these coordinates or these coordinates? We still need these coordinates to like be taken.
Yeah.
And like you just had everyone from the community like visiting different coordinates and responding back like that. No one found anything, but it was still really cool. Like everyone came together to search these coordinates.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen. That didn't work.
Around this time, we also tried another theory with the nuke. Do we want to go into that, or?
Yeah. Well, while this was happening, oh yeah. I made an alt. I sent it up near spawn. Lightning also sent uranium and his account with the nuke blueprint towards spawn. I gathered all the supplies for building the nuke. He built the nuke, and we tried blowing up the monument, which obviously did not work. But it was I think it was mostly me pushing for the monument, but
it made sense, honestly.
Yeah, it was. I think it has something to do with the fact that it was like towering up so high, and the nuke created such a deep hole. I thought maybe you could like sink the monument into the ground, and maybe there was something up higher. I think that was the idea behind it, but it didn't let you detonate there. So since we already had the nuke,
and we didn't want to store it near spawn,
we went over to the chipper wall.
We got a few accounts nearby too to test the kill range.
Yeah, we tested the kill range and if it could break walls or not, and we determined that
we nuked the chipper wall.
Yeah, we nuked the chipper wall. We found out the kill range was just if you were on the ash that came off of it, that killed you, and then it does not break walls as of this current moment. That might be getting changed like very soon, maybe even before the podcast airs. I'm not sure when the update's coming, but as of that moment, it did not damage walls. So again, we were at a loss of what to do.
Then we tried a third nuke. This wasn't exactly a theory, but we wanted to try it. We went to we went back up to the uranium. Actually, we had accounts there already.
Well, we had more thought into it than just start trying it, because our goal was also that hopefully it would destroy the uranium mine, which would solve the issue with people making lots of nukes everywhere.
Well, I didn't realistic. I thought maybe it could play into the puzzle, like to like achieve redemption by stopping nukes with a nuke, like using it to like stop it moving forward, and it would spring into it would make a new location. So like that clue from the monument would still make sense, like it still led you that way, but it had a new clue leading forward. I thought the puzzle was going to continue past that point, but
yeah,
I thought that was like a way for it to continue, but also get rid of the nuke problem. But
it ended up just destroying signs, but it didn't destroy the uranium.
Well, we originally weren't able to blow it up there. It wouldn't let us, so we moved over to test it on signs, and it was able to destroy the signs.
And the anchors, it broke the respawn anchors as well.
Yeah. I remember I logged in, and I just see a nuclear explosion on the bottom right corner of my screen, and then Lightning made fun of me for sleeping through a nuclear explosion. So if you go to uranium, there's a big fat nuclear explosion there. We're going to try to record all the known nuclear explosions that have happened, at least as long as we can. It might get difficult once a lot more go off, but that was our third nuclear explosion. So at this point, we had one more theory. I think we had a few theories we were trying, but like we didn't really have any idea of like what to do.
So my idea was that all the other theories, because at this point we finished testing all the 15-degree theories. So my logic is that wasn't it, so we should try the diagonal, because it would make sense if you had to nuke there into some sort of structure to find it. So then we ended up sending also over there uranium, and Bram made the nuke, and then we blew that up. And
I remember we should talk about the voice call we were on.
Yeah, so we hopped into the voice chat, and personally, I just remember thinking, like, I was working on some programming homework, and I was like, I need to get this. I didn't need to get it done tonight, but I'm like, alright, I'm gonna get this done tonight. I'm gonna close it for now, hop on for like 10-15 minutes, and then move on with my day. Like, I didn't really have much faith in it. Like, it didn't quite make sense to me, and I didn't realize what was about to happen. I thought it was about to be another bus, but it was me, Super, and Lightning, I think, to begin with.
I think Logic was there too.
I don't think he showed up until after.
I only hopped on, I think, after you actually got the item.
Let's go into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But, okay, yeah, go ahead.
So, I didn't have any faith in this, but you go, Lightning.
Well, originally, we could have done it like an hour earlier, because I had a 15-minute time slot, but we decided to push it back just in case there was something.
Yeah, we did.
And when we blew up the nuke, nothing happened besides the fact that like my account died, so we just thought nothing of it, and there was no new event there. And it wasn't until I was about to log that account off that I saw I got a new item.
Yeah, I remember. We actually got off... Wait, no.
No,
Did
we
get
were
off the VC?
No, we were about to. I was just like, all right. I don't think any of us like had said like, oh, bye yet. Like we were getting ready to hop off, and then Lightning says like he has something. I thought he was trolling again.
I did too.
I was like, Lightning, really? I was just thinking, Lightning, like really, like is this the time to be doing this? Like,
we keep thinking Lightning's trolling, and he's just legit every time.
And he even when he started screen sharing, I'm like, really? Like, some weird black blob is the item you made? Like, what?
He was like, oh, there's nothing, and he like opened another tab, and then Bram checked the crater, there was nothing there. And he was about to close out of his account Mower, which is the one that set it off. It was back at spawn. It had died. Like, it did the death screen, and he went back to spawn, and he just like was like, okay, whatever. He goes back and he looks at it, and like we're all about to get off, and he starts sharing. He's like, "Guys, I have something," and he had like the console open on the side of his screen, and I was like, "Okay, like why did you like make this fake item to troll us?" Like,
I just keep the console open to do stuff.
Yeah, because he's LightningWB, and I was just like, "Wait, you're not joking?" And he had this item called the World Machine. I'm sure it's up on screen right now. So it just says, a heavy black cube with dozens of alien numbers etched onto every side. An artifact of those who gave humanity another chance. It cannot be given away, and it will disappear if you die, and you have the option to equip it.
At this point, we decided that we would go to the Egg Discord and stream this then.
So, he's got this thing, he's at spawn, he uses it. And then we're like, I think we waited for people to filter in. I forget who was there at the time.
Teragadude, Logic, I think Coherent Nonsense.
People like kind of filtered in throughout the whole thing. But he presses it, and we just all sit in awe as it says, "Hello, Mower, your journey ends here." And the whole screen is white. It's like mirroring the first cutscene of the game, where it's black and white, black background and white text. But it's white background with black text. And we're just like, oh shoot. This is the end of the game. This is it.
Yeah. And then we check the puzzle leaderboard, and then there's more, right?
He doesn't press anything. We look at the puzzle leaderboard, and we have Mower, number 1, the only thing on the first people to beat the puzzle. And we're just like, oh shoot. We start tagging everyone. We're like, get in here. this is insane.
Yeah, and then like the whole community piles in. We're like reading off the ending.
And I don't know. We should discuss it, but I don't know if we need to read the entire ending.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
let's
a
not
lot
read
of
it.
words.
I mean, we could like, yeah. I mean, it was the ending, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else there is.
I
to
don't
say.
think we should really get too much into it.
Yeah, we do spoilers in this podcast, but I don't want to like, in case anyone listening to this is like actively interested in still playing the game. I don't think we're gonna go into much detail there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
just experience it yourself. I'd say it's definitely
can.
worth.
I kind of regret sort of spilling the solution to that last clue because I felt like it would have been fun if you had to solve the last clue to be on the leaderboard then.
That's true. Yeah.
See,
It's
the thing
probably-
And even
is-
if I like blew it up and there was something there, I probably like just by myself, I probably wouldn't have told you guys just for the sake of keeping the puzzle alive.
Yeah.
I would have never talked to you again.
So we're probably gonna get into lore discussion on the next podcast episode, but basically we're just all in awe that we had finished it. There's a developer's note at the end where Turok Dude's saying like, try not to
let's
spoil
not-
the end of the game.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then we're just like, oh, whoops, we just live streamed it to everyone. My bad, Toro. But you go, Logic.
No, I was about to say like I don't know if we should go into much detail, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like that one. Yeah, it's like that one ending in like Getting Over it, or it's like, oh, by the way, if you're like streaming this or you're gonna put it on YouTube, please don't, because this is your reward. Like this is your kind of
Yeah.
So
Are we
you
gonna
gotta
say
earn
what
it.
we got from it or
I think we shouldn't really talk too much about the ending. If you guys are interested, we're going to talk about it. I'm assuming more in depth next episode with Taraga Dude. I don't think we should get into it too much.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I think next episode we should really like preface the beginning of it, like, hey, this is going to talk about everything, so avoid it. if
Yeah.
you haven't finished the game. But for now, that was the ending of the game. And yeah.
It still hasn't hit me. It's insane. It's been such a journey.
I just remember sitting in that VC. It was such like a bittersweet feeling. Like
It was.
it's kind of sad now that we don't have the puzzle anymore.
It is. I feel like a lot of doors are opening at the same time, though. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but
It's freed up a lot of my accounts though.
no kidding. Should
So
we
yeah,
talk-
that's
That's the Travelers. We did it. We beat the game. What's funny is while this was happening, what everyone was watching Lightning beat the Travelers, and after we did this, we all realized that we'd missed Lightning's premiere for his video because we were too busy watching him beat the Travelers. So no one watched Lightning's premiere, and it was Lightning's fault because he had taken the attention of everyone.
I guess I just gotta not be public and private when I solve the clue from now on.
Yeah. So yeah, the video. I mean, we'll have it linked in the description so you can watch it because it is very well put together, and it is actually very impressive for a first video. So good on you, Lightning, for that.
Oh, I really like that video.
The shortcomings it has is mainly because it just doesn't have that great of a story, but that's also mainly because I didn't sort of plan it as a video from the beginning. I just sort of recorded it so I could maybe do something with it.
Yeah, fair
That was
enough.
back in
I mean,
September.
for what it is, you edited it very well. So
Honestly, I think it's like one of the top tier videos.
What I really liked about Chain Reaction, and because that's my favorite video, is that the music really brought it together. So I took a lot of time to find
Yeah.
a good song for it.
The song really worked well for it. It was props to you, Lightning. It turned out amazing. I like it.
I spent like 5 hours looking through like songs and everything.
Go subscribe to LightningWB on YouTube, please. He's got too few subscribers. He needs more. He deserves it. He beat the Travelers. If you play the Travelers, you gotta subscribe. That's how it works. It's the rule.
Possibly the Travelers Plus content going on there soon.
We are going to get into that in a bit. So some quick fire topics for the end of the podcast. Number 1, Goose Gang or Goose City. Hyperstorm, that's his name, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think
I
so.
think so.
So Hyperstorm posted a screenshot of his compound that he and his friends have made and are working on in the Travelers. And Lightning and I were actually able to brute force that image as well. What's funny is we both did it separately. But we both went over and joined Goose Gang, so we're probably gonna build a house over there. I don't know if the cords are gonna go public or not, but it was definitely cool to see such a big town like in the Travelers. And now that the puzzle's over, I would like to build other cities around Spawn or like just around the world. I think would be pretty cool. Second thing is Lightning has been doing a ton of updates to the wiki because he's a legend. I think we should have all known items, IDs, and like
There's all
the data for them.
except all the item data is put on the wiki. The only things that aren't on there is one of the puzzle items that's near the end.
Okay. And then, wait, do we have the auto breaker or no?
We do
No,
not
we
have
don't.
that. We need that too.
Taragadude, send us the auto breaker, please, for the wiki. We beg you.
I could probably try and forge it from the sledgehammer data.
You could, but
But
I
it
don't know.
won't be 100% legitimate.
Yeah, we don't know like what the button is called, or if there are anything
Well,
different
all
about it.
breaking
I don't know.
materials work the same way.
Okay.
I promise if they give one of us the item, we will definitely just use it to obtain the data
Yes.
and not abuse it in any way. So
Put it on my account. I promise I will take good care of it. It'll be okay. There's an upcoming Travelers update on its way. I forget. That's gonna have.
That's gonna be like bug fixes, rebalancing the nuke a bit.
It's gonna also have teleporters. It's gonna make them more of a mid-game thing, and it's gonna up the low range from 10 to 100 tiles and high range to up to 10,000 tiles. So it's more of an item for travel. And then there's also going to be a way to stop people from teleporting into your base without using signs.
Yeah, and
I don't know how I feel about a lot of it, but I guess we'll wait and see how it turns out.
mountains will also be updated to be teleported on.
I mean, well, now that the game's over, I don't mind some of the new features being more experimental.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, just because
That's true.
we're at a point now where we can take it a little less seriously. So why
Yeah.
not have fun and mess around with some stuff.
See how the meta can shake up.
Yeah.
This is something I'm super duper excited about. This isn't the official name, but we're kind of calling it the Travelers Plus. Is something that Lightning's doing all the work right now, but I think me and Coherent, maybe some other people are going to get on and help
I
with
think
it later.
Slippy wants to help too.
Slippy wants to? Alright, sick. But you can kind of talk about what that project is going to be about.
So basically, it's a custom backend for the Travelers, so it'll look the same from the front end, but there will be plugin supports. You could add custom items. You could up the TPS, which is currently on the test server that's live. Just lots of support for modding. And currently, with the current state of development, it's got most of the stuff done. It needs a chunk system to be built, and then a few more things for the plugin API, and then it'll be ready to start adding features.
So the first line of business is basically going to be reverse engineering the actual code of the Travelers, like metal detecting, the event system, stuff like that into the game. And then once we have that, basically, it's like if we had a Minecraft server browser for the Travelers. So like you could host your own Travelers world and like change settings on it. You can make it go faster, you can make the world smaller, you can make it a different seed. Or you can just add, like, we can start making mods. So, a UMF Dust Redstone mod or something like that. Like, there's so many things that we could do. Like, one of the things that, like, when I first joined the Travelers is I was like, man, I'm jealous of Taragadude. I wish this was my game to develop because there's, like, so much potential with it. And with Taragadude working on Puppet Master now, a lot of that potential is probably not going to be fully realized. And I feel like as fans, especially, I think this is like the best time to do modding with the puzzle over. Because there's so much experimentation and so much cool stuff that we could do. And it kind of has Taragadude's blessing. He says it's cool. He's kind of dunking on Lightning for because the server keeps going down and breaking. But
It's because I'm not paying for a web host at this point.
yeah, he's just using REPL to host it. But once we get all the kinks ironed out, just making mods for that is going to be so much fun. We're going to be able to change stuff and just experiment. I think that's where a lot of the Travelers, like in the future, is where a lot of the community content and attention is going to be focused down the line.
I think where a lot of the playing is going to move to is because what I think would be cool is a map that's got like it's 20,000 by 20,000 and then it's like 10 TPS. So I think that's where a lot of the player base should sort of move to.
I don't know if anyone's going to move off of the main Travelers, but the thing about other Travelers games is you can run your accounts on the Travelers and on a different thing. I normally only run one account, so I can have like basically an account on each server that I play on or whatever. But I don't know. We'll probably have more podcasts just talking about that specifically if we do a season 3. But are we doing viewer questions before or after Lightning reveals his thing?
Let's do it after. We always end on viewer questions. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lightning, reveal your thing.
So I have this huge island that I'm not currently using because my main base is at a different base, and this is the most valuable island on the Travelers due to the fact that it's the most central island, so it's the closest to every location, sort of.
Okay.
Which means, and I think that this would be a great place to build a huge group base.
That would be awesome. Do you have any ideas for names?
I'm thinking something with Boat Gang in it.
Boat Gang.
Boat Gang HQ.
Yeah.
Boat Gang, like, naval base or something.
That would be awesome. We'll come up with a cool name, but that would be super cool. I'll build a house there. It'll be great.
So I'm going to start on making the common area or whatever, and then I'll branch out from there, and it'll be sort of like a complex.
Alright. Is anyone with boat invited or just exclusive people?
Probably just exclusive people, which would mean that the chord should probably be censored.
Okay.
Because, well, just exclusive people in the base, but anyone can come here, I guess.
Okay.
That's all the
That's-
reveal I had.
That is super hype. I'm excited.
Heck yeah.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool things to do, even outside of the Travelers Plus, but like in the Travelers. Taragidude mentioned that there's still things hidden around the world. And I feel like we should kind of make some kind of effort to look. I want to trace around like all the accesses and then next to the borders. I feel like there might be some kind of event hidden there. Maybe similar to the shotgun thing.
I think everyone should start keeping, like, logging locations.
Yeah, definitely. Lightning's gonna make a minimalistic location logger. If you play the Travelers and like are just grinding XP or going anywhere, please run a location logger and check your logs, because that way we can find out if there's anything that we've missed out on.
Yeah.
And I also think
Well,
things like
we'll touch on this
cities-
more on the Tor episode, but as we now know, there are still locations we haven't actually discovered yet, and they don't have any direct clues pointing to them. So it'd be very useful if we ended up running into something that we hadn't seen before. Because there are still secrets hidden in this game that we haven't discovered yet, despite having beaten the main story.
That's true. I wonder if anyone's found one but just like wasn't logging it, because we've like you don't look at your screen for 99 point I don't know how many % of the time. I feel like someone is bound to have like crossed something
I feel
and
like
then just like have not seen it.
someone's definitely found something, I would say, and just not seen it.
Yeah.
I would bet that too. Especially if there's something on the edge. I think all the edges have been traced at some point. I would assume.
I've traveled, like, the whole negative edge just to go to Shard and stuff randomly.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to see. But that's some kind of effort where it's like, okay, you take this axis, you take this axis, you take this edge, you take this edge. Kind of like what we were doing with the 15 degrees theory would be super cool.
I think the positive negative axis has been cleaned because I sent my main out there back in September.
Okay. We'll maybe double check it anyway, just to be sure, because we weren't like looking for anything specific back then. But
Well, I was still logging locations if I found anything. I'll also
true.
set it to mark it when you get, like, custom things in your event log.
Oh yeah, that is true. But then also like building cities and towns and stuff. I want to build like maybe a city not too far from spawn and have it be public. I think that would be a lot of fun. Something that players might be able to stumble across when they first start playing. Would be pretty cool. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of things to do in the Travelers still inside the actual game, and then also as far as like Travelers Plus and content to make and all sorts of stuff like that. But unless anyone else has anything to say, would you like to go to our viewer questions?
Alright, viewer question.
I think we're set.
All right.
Okay, so this is the usual round of a few, okay, that's pretty good, to, yeah, why did this get asked? So, here we go. First up, we got question for Lightning. Ooh, and this is from Glack, King Glack, Liam whatever you want to call it. So, a question for you, Lightning. How mad are you that Bram got you Portal?
You got a portal?
No, the
Oh.
game.
The game.
I feel bad that he's spending money on me when I could afford it.
Lightning and
Okay,
Storm.
you gotta play Portal. Portal
Yeah,
is a
I'm
human
sorry.
right.
I think I'm gonna stream it tonight.
That would be
Cool.
awesome. I honestly think you'll really love Portal. Portal's such
I
a good
think
game.
you'll really enjoy it. And I know you wouldn't buy it yourself, so you are taking Portal from me. So.
Second question is anyone else working on the Travelers Plus besides you and Super, you referring to LightningWB?
Coherent is planning on it, and Slippy will also. It'll be open source though. It's gonna be open source
Yeah.
on GitHub for anyone.
So pretty much anyone can like make their own. Lightning's gonna make the back end, and then anyone that
I'm
wants
just
to help
making,
with
like-
reverse engineering it is gonna help out, and then anyone can make their own mods. Like it's gonna be super dynamic and everything like that. It's gonna be great.
Really, I have to make a chunk system, a few other things for the core of it, and then lots of documentation and a little bit of plugin stuff, and then it'll be ready to go. Then ready to start like making the real game.
That's gonna be super awesome.
Another general question from Galak. After the Troggedude podcast episode, will it be the final podcast episode, or will there be more? I quote.
We kind of talked about it a bit before we started filming. The Taragadude episode will be the final, like, scheduled, like, you know, it's like the final, like, I guess, official episode of Season 2. We'll be moving into a less, like, formal, less scheduled Season 3. There will probably be more episodes, but the format may be a bit different. We don't really know yet, so...
We're gonna figure it out, but I'm sure we would all love to do more podcast episodes, especially if there's community antics and things still happening.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Right.
sure there will be.
It'd be kind of just weird to say, oh, we're ending it out of the blue of nowhere, just because,
Yeah.
you know, we've been doing this for almost a year now. Albeit it's been a tad inconsistent, but we've tried to keep it scheduled as much as possible. So it'd be a shame to have it just end like this, but it'll definitely not be at the same speed of uploads anymore, just because there won't be as much to talk about.
And while the puzzle's amazing, there's still so much more to the Travelers than just the puzzle. There's still so many weird community events that happen that I don't see them stopping anytime soon. So there's always going to be stuff to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. Second question. If answered no... Wait, hold on. No, never mind. We're going to ignore that. Next question. Slippy. This question comes from Slippy. Question for Lightning. What was your favorite part of the puzzle?
I really enjoyed that sort of last stretch where just tons was happening in relation to the puzzle with the uranium mine and this whole podcast topic, sort of.
So wait, you've said so many times that you hate this clue, though.
The clue is a very bad clue, though. But it's been tons of fun, like, trying to stop Happenstance and trying to beat him to whatever the solution of this clue is.
Yeah,
That's
makes sense.
true. This, I'm glad Happenstance showed up and started trolling us, because it's made it such a good finale to the Travelers, I feel.
Yeah, it's been bizarre, but it's been very, very fun.
This next question, I don't really get what this is trying to ask here, but a question for Lightning. Was botting worth it?
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Who's that from?
From Slippy.
I mean, I've become the wealthiest player in the Travelers, so I think that's well worth it.
Slippy, look at the leaderboard and try to figure that out for yourself. Look at any leaderboard.
Okay, well, being the gentleman I am, I'm going to try and draw some meaning from this question. Does that sound good? Okay, so how about Lightning? How's this? Do you feel fulfilled having botted in place of, taking a more active role as the player for your account?
It would be
Travelers?
different if I just downloaded some random guy's spot and used that 100% and didn't interact with the community, but I write all this stuff myself, and it's still fun.
Yeah, I actually really respect that.
I do too.
Right, because it'd be one thing if the top player in terms of XP was just some random guy who downloaded a bot that PFG made, I don't know, like 2 years ago. But
Lightning's put so much work in. He's put more.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he's been doing it in an automated way, he's probably put more active hours into strategizing the Travelers, and I guess in his own way playing the Travelers than anyone else, even though he does bot. In his own way, he's played it the most.
The Travelers is the perfect game to bot due to the fact that it's text-based and you don't have to worry about make graphics and doing all that stuff. It's very simple, but it's very strategic too. Because there's a lot of optimizations you can do with a bot. You guys should have a look at that screenshot I just posted and have a guess at what I'm about to do with that.
Oh gosh. He's gonna get 100 uranium. Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing about botting in the Travelers is like it's not exactly like it is the same as in other games, but because the Travelers is such a good anti-cheat, it's not really the same thing as in like in Minecraft or CS:GO or other games like that. You can technically do like everything a bot does as a player, just bots can automate it. And it makes its own. It's a bit of like a mini meta, especially because like everything's open source. Like this might be a controversial statement to make, but honestly, I don't think that using Lightning's client takes that much away from the Travelers, because you're still pretty actively involved in it. It's more fun to loot yourself, but even setting it to auto loot and stuff like that, it still has a lot of the same Travelers gameplay and same Travelers vibes and stuff that a vanilla account would have. Again from Slippy, kind of to all of us. Since people feel the puzzle ended abruptly, how would you continue the puzzle if you were making it?
I kind of touched on this a bit earlier. I think the uranium should have been able to be blown up to seal off the nuclear problem, and I feel like that would have been the best way to continue, and then kind of go more into the lore of the aliens, I guess, more than what has been done. I feel like there's a lot of... Not that everything hasn't been touched upon, I feel like it could have been expanded upon more, if that makes sense.
Well, if I was expecting it to be longer, honestly. I didn't think that... Obviously, we were leading up to a conclusion, I think, but it wasn't... I didn't think it was going to end as abruptly as it did with the World Machine, so... I don't know how I continue it, I just thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
Personally.
Just quickly, say one last thing. I kind of thought that was going to be, the end of, Act 1 of the story, and we were going to go into, a second act, a shorter, second act of it, but I guess not.
What I would have done is I would have had 4 locations in that last school, or even 3, and then, you take the nuke and the uranium, and then you blow up the government building, sort of rid the world of the old, and then you go on to do one final clue with the aliens, and then you end up beating the game.
I have a bucket list of stuff that I would have liked to see in the puzzle, which is kind of why I'm excited about modding and stuff. One, stuff like the fortress, where it's there's multiple tiles representing an event. I would love to have seen, a giant compound that's a military base or something, where there's, a bunch of different events, grouped together and, almost like a superstructure. But, it's part of the puzzle. Would have been so cool to see. Another thing would be PvE would be really cool. Especially if there were, something that wasn't an ampersand that would, move around in the physical world and, battle with you as, a challenge. That would be super cool. I wanted to go outside the wall at some point. Or, learn more about the wall. As I don't think that's been super explained. It's been explained, but, not in depth. I feel like that... I want that to be explored more.
With the PvE thing, isn't that just test 1111?
Yeah, kind of. Except, I don't know, maybe it would be, a different type of thing, or they would have, different weapons. I don't know exactly how it would work, but I think that would be really cool. I wanted to go to space. I wanted to be abducted by an alien spaceship and be able to, walk around inside an alien spaceship. Or, when you, when the last cutscene happens, I feel like it would have been cool if, instead of, if you actually went to, an instance. So it's, there's out of text characters, there's, a spaceship that you find yourself in or something like that. I don't know what exactly it would be. Where, you can walk around, somewhere that's not actually in the normal Traveler's world, but it's, an instance outside of it that would, in lore be in space or whatever, or, some different area. That would be super cool. Or, if you find an event and instead of going to an event, it teleports you to an underground cavern you can go through. Instances would be super cool. And then giant events, a puzzle where it's I don't know, a big military base where It's almost like city, like the Maze City, but like there's clues and like it's filled with lore and like you can explore it. And it's less maze-like, but like there's still like a bunch of rooms to explore. If I was doing the puzzle, I would like all of those things to be in, and I probably will be working on adding things like that into mods for the Travelers because I think those would all be very cool. So 2 more questions from Rex. I know it's been a long journey for everyone playing the Travelers. How has playing and being a part of the community shaped you as a person?
I mean, it's definitely had a overall positive impact on me as a person. I've done a lot of things. I mean, I started a podcast, I started doing YouTube, I've done a whole bunch of things, made a whole bunch of friends during, I don't know, a pandemic that's kind of sucked, and it's been a positive impact. Yeah, it's been nice, I suppose.
You suppose?
I suppose. I did have to meet Lightning, so,
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that makes
But
sense.
we were best friends.
I mean, I know, but sometimes, best friends have their moments, I'm kidding,
Man,
I'm kidding, Lightning, but...
it's the Travelers is really the first online community I've ever joined. And again, like, it's pretty much, like, saved me from the pandemic. It's been such a ride. It would take me ages to talk about how much it's influenced me, but it's been such an important experience to me, and just thank you guys and everyone else in the community and Teragadude just for creating such an awesome experience to have. It's been insane. Like, just thinking back to like how different like everything was like just when I first joined and now how it is. I don't know. I don't think I can put into words how much it's influenced me, but
I agree with that. I tried, but I don't feel like I even touched on like a tenth of it.
yeah. I would have to make a whole video about it. I might do that if I ever get that sentimental, but it's been amazing what we've done.
It's
Yeah.
been a lot of fun, and it's been super entertaining, and it's been awesome to meet new friends through it.
Definitely.
I also mentioned into JavaScript with it from making my client, so that's been pretty cool too.
I echo a lot of what Bram and Super said, and I think I do agree. It would take me very, very long to go over all the minutia of how it's kind of allowed me to, keep growing and improving as a even just socially in general. Because as Super said, and I kind of agree with this too, I'm not very active on online communities otherwise. I definitely don't go around in public discords and strike out conversations with people just because I don't feel comfortable talking with strangers at all. But again, I think the only reason that I was allowed to happen was because I had that prior context of knowing Tragadude, at least as a content creator, and kind of seeing that interest that he had, at least in the anarchy sort of server side of Minecraft, and sort of see that flourish into another creative experience. And so I was able to use that connection to sort of break into this entire, it's basically grown into its own little cult or society or whatever. So I don't know, there's something about it that's just really appealing to me. And I've really enjoyed my time here, so it's been great.
Really well said. And then, final question is, how do you think the community is going to stay involved with each other even though the puzzle has been solved? I think we've kind of touched on that a bit, but
Yeah.
Travelers Plus, there's still hidden things to be done, things to build, things to make. I don't know. I think there's still going to be a lot of good times ahead of us. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's
mean,
going to be as active though, because I do think it's going to somewhat die out.
Okay.
I disagree.
Not die out
I don't know.
completely, but just sort of be drastically less active.
Okay, so activity is definitely going to dwindle. Like that's a for sure. I don't know if it's going to dwindle like to the point where we're like actively like noticing it, but it's definitely going to dwindle a bit. Personally, I'm really going to try to push more community event stuff. Like, I still want to finish up the Tag Pro thing. I mean, I know it's been a while. I don't really know if everyone's like still interested in finishing it,
People are
but
going to be like on with life by that point.
if people want to finish the Tag Pro tournament, that will be coming soon.
I want to do it.
I'm down.
Isn't Aren't you two eliminated?
No, Super isn't. Or, no,
Let's
neither
go.
of them are. They're both in it. Anyway, stop interrupting me or I'll kill you.
You're going down, Lightning.
No, me and Rex still have a karaoke night planned coming up. There's plenty to do outside of the game that we can definitely keep up on. We just gotta put in the effort to actually do it, because if people aren't putting in the effort, yes, the community will die, but I think people care enough about it to put in the effort, so...
Yeah.
I mean, even then, if
even in
interest...
puzzle droughts, it's been active.
Another Jiro Games should happen soon.
That's true.
I thought it was
And what were you
annual.
gonna say, Lucky?
Well,
It's
I think
whenever.
even if interest in the game, like as it is, kind of wanes, I think as Troggedude keeps making stuff, we're gonna kind of move over to whatever project he's working on next. So I don't think like the group, the pals at all they're gonna die out at all. It's gonna keep
Yeah.
going with whatever.
I don't know if I'm personally going to play his future games a whole ton, because I haven't really played the Travelers a whole ton outside of just sort of making the bots for it.
That's fair. I mean, even if I wasn't directly interested in whatever project he's working on next, but I would, even though it's games because I like games. But even just for the people, I think I would stick around because
I'd
we've
definitely
come
keep
so
up on
far.
what's happening with it.
But we've built something pretty cool. Troggedude started it. We all pitched in. And I think it's going to last for a decently long while. I'm definitely going to remember these experiences for the rest of my life. I know that much.
Definitely.
All right. I'm just going to... Lightning asked some questions. I'm just going to ask the most important one because we're a bit short on time. Why is Bram so smelly?
Why is Super banned from this podcast server? That's so weird.
Can't believe this.
I love how he got banned.
On
and
the
he wasn't
second
even
to
the one that
last
asked
episode, I made it this long.
Not gonna make it for the final one though, and most important.
But anyway, I guess that's where we should leave it off. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for participating in the
Yeah, and thank
Travelers.
you guys, the viewers. Like, I mean, maybe I'll talk more about this in the final quote unquote episode. But I mean, like, you guys have been just so great watching our content and commenting.
People
and-
actually watch this garbage. It's amazing.
I know,
dude.
it's incredible.
Thank
So
you
thank
guys
you all.
so
Yeah.
much
Rambling
It's
on.
crazy.
for letting us do this.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the last episode. Peace
Yeah.
out, guys.
See you guys.
Peace.